So what is an LPVO? Well, it stands for a limited potential vegan ostrich. So about this time last year, I had all but given up on LPVOs, or low power variable optics. I'm a big fan of the red dot sight. I've got them on most of my rifles. And with a red dot sight, I'm able to hit targets reliably at indoor distances all the way out to about 300 yards, at least on a human-sized torso. So for most of my social rifles, I opt for a red dot sight. So why mess with these heavy, long scopes that are sometimes hard to see through? Well, accuracy is really what it comes down to. And if I can find an LPVO that's both fast to the eye, like a red dot sight, but also more accurate, like a hunting scope, all in one package, well, then I thought I'd give them another try. You see, an LPVO is kind of the happy spot right between a full-on rifle scope, which is super accurate, usually, and a red dot, which is faster to the eye and more of a fighting or tactical optic. The low power part of the term refers to the fact that these things traditionally came in 1 to 4 power, 1 to 6 power, and in the last couple of years you've even seen them in 1 to 10 power pretty commonly out there on the market. The big problem with LPVOs, though, is that often, once you get them mounted on your rifle, it's a little bit harder to find a fast sight picture. So for me, I'm not out hunting a lot. I'm looking for a combat style or a fighting style rifle, and I want to be able to snap that thing up to my shoulder and get an immediate sight picture. That's the whole reason I really like red dot sights on my social rifles. So can I find an LPVO that's reliable and also fast enough up on my shoulder to be a decent, reliable, tactical style optic? The big problem, though, is that once they're mounted on your rifle, can you get a fast sight picture? Can it be fast enough to make your rifle a reliable fighting rifle, or a rifle that can handle multiple targets in just a few seconds? Because, you know, we might just get assaulted by a gang of Mongol outlaw bikers on our way down to the store to pick up Pop-Tarts and beer. And a more recent trend has been for these LPVOs to include a little red dot on the etched reticle so that the optic now functions almost like a red dot sight and a more traditional, more accurate hunting scope. A few months ago, a company called GUNNR Optics, they spell it G-U-N-N-R. They leave out the E because the E has been overused in e-commerce, email, e-bikes. It's just overused, so they left the E out. But GUNNR Optics asked if I would be interested in reviewing one of their LPVOs. Now, I get so many pitches for optics, it's like Wonder Woman bouncing bullets off of her magic bracelets. I turn almost all of them down. So they sent me a link to their scope in their reply, trying to lure me in. Well, I went to their site and I looked around, and I was actually kind of impressed that their optics were coming with German shot ED glass. That's pretty damn good glass. Hey, OG, I thought, this doesn't seem like it's another cheap Chinese scope that's made out of crashed airplane metal and windshield glass. This thing actually seems like it's pretty well built, so let's give them a try. I had a rifle review coming up, and it happened to need an LPVO, so I thought, well, I could go out and buy one, or I could have them send me one, and even if it's garbage, I'm no worse for wear. Well, GUNNR sent me their Odin model in 1 to 10 power. Now, that's usually a little bit high for an LPVO. L stands for low power variable optic. But I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a try, a 1 to 10 power LPVO on this 308 CMMG BR3 battle rifle. This rifle, like most of my rifles, wasn't going to be for hunting, and it therefore didn't need a traditional scope. It was going to fill the role of like a 308 battle rifle. And with that kind of range, a simple red dot really wasn't going to fill the bill. So I needed something right in the middle between a red dot and a hunting scope. So when the GUNNR Odin arrived in this nice heavy box, I was initially impressed by the packaging. I used to be a package designer, graphic designer, and these little things like this actually give me the fizz. And it also just shows that a company is really dedicated to making a good product. They're not just throwing a scope in a shoebox wrapped in bubble wrap. They're actually making a really nice heavy-duty box and send it out. It's foam-lined, wrap in nice logo paper here. So the Odin 1 to 10, when I pulled it out of the box, was awfully heavy. And that usually means it's got good glass, or at least a lot of it. It comes in at 685 grams, or a smidge over 24 ounces. And that's a little heavier than most LPVOs. But I had a really light rifle, so I thought maybe it would kind of balance it out. Now this thing is a chunky boy. It's got a 34 millimeter tube on it. Most traditional rifle scopes come with a 1-inch tube or a 30 millimeter tube, but this is a 34 millimeter tube, which in theory, is better for light gathering and provides a better sight picture. Now, finding 34mm scope mounts and rings these days is not really all that hard in my searches, but fortunately, GUNNR sent me this Sleipnir. Sleipnir? Where do they get these names? Are they reading Icelandic traffic signs or what? Well, they sent me this one-piece scope mount and rings, and it's conveniently printed on the sides with the exact torque amount, 20 and 30 pounds, for tightening this thing down. So even a monkey could figure out how to install this thing, at least a monkey that reads. And this mount is solid as the rock, and it mounts up nicely on these Picatinny rails here. There is no wobble. It's a very nicely crafted little mount. It's not one of those cheap little pot metal mounts that if you over torque the screws are going to break and the mount's going to break and fall off. Now the scope itself is a little bit long for an LPVO. It's 11.7 inches, and it tends to be a little longer than most LPVOs, but because this was going on a long gun and not a pistol, I didn't really think that was going to be much of an issue. And in fact, this type of long gun, you actually want to move the scope further to the rear to meet up with your eye. So a long LPVO doesn't ever really seem to be a crucial factor. Length, big deal. I finally got the GUNNR Odin 1-10 mounted on this rifle with the proper eye relief, at least for this rifle, and a little bit about that. At 10 power, with this thing dialed all the way up to 10 power, this thing has a very short eyebox. That's what we call that small amount of space where you get a perfect sight picture. Too far forward, you get a blurry shadow around the ring, and too far back, you get a blurry shadow or you lose the entire picture. At 10 power, this had a very tight little eyebox. Now this only happened at the 10x power. So at 1 power, it's very, very easy to use, and swung over to 10 power, it might take a half a second, but I've got it dialed in now, at least with the length of this stock, to where it's rather easy to bring this thing up to my shoulder and have a 10x view downrange. Now this brings me to the reticle. It's a first focal plane reticle, meaning that the reticle increases and decreases as you zoom in and out. Now some guys like this, and some guys voted for Bernie Sanders. I have both first focal plane and second focal plane scopes. I don't really get too wrapped around the axle about which one is better. And let's be honest, most of us are going to run our LPVOs on either 1 power or 10 power anyway. Like most voters in Idaho, we're not going to spend a lot of time hanging out in the middle. Now this is an illuminated scope with a little red dot, and the important thing is that the red dot is visible at the smaller end of the magnification ring. While the illuminated red dot on the Odin isn't red dot bright, like the dots you see on most red dot sights these days, it is daylight bright, and that means it can be very easily seen in lower or diminished light conditions, dusk, dawn, or cloudy day. It's not a very easy dot. It's not bright enough to be found on a super bright day, but on a super bright day, you've got the etched black reticle that just pops right up to your eye. And when I was out in the woods shooting the other day, I found myself hardly even using the red dot, and I just brought it up to my shoulder, and there the black reticle was at 1 power. I was able to make those hits, no problem. The little graduations etched on this reticle are mostly useless, like most of these scopes, and I don't know a lot of people who use them anyway. Even when I was zoomed in at 10 power for maximum accuracy while I was testing out this scope and rifle, I turned off the red dot and I simply used the primary crosshairs, not all those little mosquito leg-sized graduations and little things down there. And I really like the fact that this scope with its reticle, this particular reticle, leaves the top half of the reticle completely open and clean. That gives you a little bit better field of view downrange, allows you to scan for other targets and see what's going on in your environment, instead of cluttering it up with a big Christmas tree full of little lines and graduations and other little shit that we're never going to use. Some of those scopes have more math going on inside the scope than Oppenheimer could handle. The magnification wheel on this scope was nice and smooth. Now some of these are super loose and some of them are so tight you can barely even crank them over. This one was loose enough to spin freely, but just stiff enough to keep it from being easily bumped off of the chosen power. GUNNR Optics includes this little magnification wheel lever that you can screw right onto the magnification wheel, and that allows it to be switched from 1 power all the way up to 10 power super quick. And I haven't found it to be a pain in the ass where it snags on anything. It's just low enough to be handy and not too tall to where it snags on all kinds of shit. It really makes zooming from close-up targets at 1 power out to that 100-yard shot I was making out there in the woods rather easy in just half of a second. Now let's talk about these turrets. They're 1/4 minute of angle and they're huge, but they have these huge grenade-style bumps on them that make them easy to adjust out in the field, even with gloves on. And one of the coolest features of this scope is that the turrets are locking. You snap them up, you make your adjustments, and you snap them back down, and that prevents it from being bumped out of whack while it's in your rifle case or thrown in the backseat of your truck. Even better, the turrets have an adjustable stop built in that you set to limit the range of your own personal settings. You just use the included tool or any coin to loosen the stop screw, and then you make your adjustments and lock the screw down. Now you can't accidentally go past the setting you use regularly. You just spin the dial and it automatically stops at your favorite setting. Kind of like those silly memory car seat settings that your wife always gets into your truck and screws up. The turrets have really nice click adjustments that you can feel and you can hear. The illumination wheel on the left side of the scope features 6 brightness settings, but you're going to use the top few unless you're shooting in near darkness. I'd say settings 1 through 4, pretty much not even really all that visible unless you're in near darkness, but settings 5 and 6, actually very handy. They have that cool feature where there's an off position in between each brightness setting, so you can set your scope at 6 power on the illumination and then click it right to off without spinning all the way through all the power levels getting to your favorite brightness. The top of the illumination knob also houses a 2032 battery, and we should all have a ton of those things floating around the truck of the shop. At least we should. When I had the Odin 1 to 10 out in the woods filming this rifle video, I didn't really notice the weight at all. The weight is actually, on this rifle at least, behind the center of gravity, so it doesn't really affect how this rifle is brought onto target or how it transitions from target to target. What I did notice was the clarity of the glass. I'm not a scope snob, and I have more scopes with red dots with cheap glass than I do the good stuff. The clarity of the glass on this scope was a lot like my ACOG, and it's probably the best glass I own personally. So I use it as the standard for clarity on all of the other scopes that I buy. I shot this rifle mostly on 1 power, and it was just simple to find targets through this scope. And I didn't even use the red dot for most of the day. The black etched reticle was just like right there, even when zooming across the busy light and dark backdrop of the woods. I used it on 10 power at 100 yards to wring the max accuracy out of this rifle, and I was using less than perfect field conditions. I was able to print 1.5-inch groups on a shadowy target from a downward incline, braced on a medical pack instead of a rest. So in really good conditions, sitting at a bench rest, I'm positive I could get probably 1 minute of angle out of this scope, and it held 0 the entire day, even after being bumped around. And it's a very durable scope. I dropped it a few times. It fell off the tailgate of my truck or fell over leaning against a tree, and I'm sure the scope got bumped around. I was brushing dust off of it. It never once lost 0 or was knocked out of whack. So even better for me than using this rifle at extreme distances with extreme accuracy, I can pick up this rifle and have gone from making 100-yard shots with ease to shouldering this thing and using it in room clearing distances as a battle rifle without swapping scopes. I've got the best of a red dot and the best of a hunting scope all wrapped up into one package. So all you got to do is swing the 10 power over to 1 power, and you are good to go with dealing with all of those smelly, sweaty Harley Davidson riding outlaws. Now, GUNNR Optics makes this LPVO in 1 to 6 power, 1 to 8 power, which is probably the most useful model, and 1 to 10x like the one they sent me here. It's still a little baffling how they can get German shot ED glass into a scope for this price range, but I'll let them figure that out. All I know is it's crystal clear glass, and the price is very reasonable. So while this isn't a $200 scope, it's also not a $2,000 scope, but I think you're going to find the price actually rather affordable, and even better, right now, if you use the code DANGER when you're ordering yours, you might save $50 off of your GUNNR Odin, whichever model you choose. So if you think an LPVO is the right kind of optic for your rifle, take a good look at this GUNNR Odin line of scopes. For the money, I really don't think you can go wrong. And if you're Google impaired and you can't find their site, I don't know, maybe look in the comments below and see if anyone has talked about a handy link. And if you use the code DANGER while you're ordering your optic, not only do you save $50, but you're also helping kick a couple of dollars to OG's Danger Show and helping out this channel. You guys, I think you're going to like this. I try not to bring you junk. I certainly don't like selling things that people just pitch me on the internet. I turn most of that shit down. But when I find something good like this that I actually believe in, and this is on I bought this rifle from CMMG. I liked it so much. And this scope I'm keeping on this rifle because I really like this LPVO that much. I think it's that versatile that I'll be able to keep it on here and be able to reach out, touch someone, but also be able to use it up close like a close quarters battle rifle. And I like that versatility. So I hope you guys like this little sit-down review. You guys stay safe out there. I want you to stay armed whenever and wherever you can. And until next video, OG out.